All right, in this video, we are going to go over 65 and then 97. With 65, it tells you to find or evaluate the integral using substitution first, and then use IBP. So here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to let u be root x, which means that du is going to be, what is that going to be? 1 over 2 root x dx. Okay. So then, whenever we do our substitution, we'll get sine of u and then 2 root x dx. Obviously, we have a problem because I still have an x right here. Well, remember that, or root x right here to be exact. Remember that that root x is the same thing as u. So technically, I have u times sine of u. That shouldn't be dx, that should have been du. du. And then, of course, this one is an easy integral for you to use the tabular method. So we're just going to do u, 1, and then 0, sine of u. The anti of sine is negative cosine, and then the anti of negative cosine is going to be negative sine. Alternate, so then you get u times negative cosine of u, and then plus sine of u, plus c. Of course, our answer needs to be in terms of x, so what we're going to do here is just, oops, I forgot about the 2. We're just gonna put everything in terms of x's now. So then we get negative 2 root x cosine of root x plus sine of root, 2 sine of root x plus c. And that is my final answer. Lots of fun, I know. But you know what else is more fun? 97. All right, so with 97, I told you guys to not use the formula that they give you in terms of what does that look like 94 or something like that. We're just gonna look at this and say, oh, it's gonna be a fun IBP, yay. So using our lovely iLatte, it looks like trig is gonna be first. So we're gonna have cosine of 3x. And then we're going to have negative 3 sine of 3x. dv is going to be e to the 2x dx. And then v is going to be 1/2 e to the 2x. Oops. All right, and then you're just going to do 1/2 e to the 2x cosine of 3x minus the integral of, well, plus, I guess, the integral of 3 over 2 sine of 3x e to the 2x dx. Sad news, unfortunately. We're gonna have to use IBP again with this part right here. Now, as a reminder, in terms of 97, what we just said here, in terms of uv minus v du, was the integral of e to the 2x times cosine of 3x, right? So I'm just going to set that equal to this for now. And you're going to see why in like 2 seconds. But now let's just focus on, well, let me move this 3/2 right here. So now let's just focus on how we have sine of 3x and then e to the 2x again. So now we have u being sine of 3x, du being 3 cosine of 3x, v is e to the 2x, and then dv, and then v is 1/2 e to the 2x. So then I have sine of 3x, well, 1/2 e to the 2x sine of 3x minus the integral of cosine 3x e to the 2x dx. I did multiply my 3 and the 1/2, and I did move it up front right here. And I have another problem. We have another repetition right here of cosine of 3x and then e to the 2x. And here's where things get interesting in terms of this. Because if I were to do IBP for this again, it's just going to keep on looping and looping and looping around. There's like no stop, right? But notice how here, before we started this second IBP, I set the uv minus v to u to my original integral. So technically, if I were to expand everything out right now, this is what we have so far in terms of what I have. What is that, like 9/4? Now, you might be asking, how did we get 3/4 and how did we get 9/4? Well, remember that we had a coefficient of 3/2 here, and then we have this coefficient of 1/2 that gave us 3/4, and then this negative 3/2 became a 9/4 right here. Now, what we're going to do is just add the 9/4 integral of cosine of 3x e to the 2x to the other side. And then that just becomes 13/4. 13/4 e to the 2x cosine of 3x dx is equal to 1/2 e to the 2x cosine of 3x plus 3/4 e to the 2x sine of 3x. And eventually we do need a plus c somewhere, but I'm not going to do that later. And then at the very end, of course, we are just going to multiply everything by 4/13, just so that my integral is isolated on the left side. So 4/13 times this whole thing right here. I know I cheat a little bit, but you know, it's fine. There. And then, of course, if you wanted to clean this out a little bit, that is going to be 2/13 e to the 2x cosine of 3x plus 3/13 e to the 2x sine of 3x plus c. I know, that was a lot of fun. So, here's the thing. Obviously, on your quiz, you are not going to be given something very easy peasy lemon squeezy that's in our packet. You'll probably be given something like number 97 or number 65, where you might have to use U-cell first and then use IBP. Or you might see IBP, but then you do it, and then plot twist, it's going to be in loop, like number 97. Now, will you see those easy peasy lemon squeezy problems on the quiz? I don't know. I didn't make it, so